Welcome to the deep dive. We sift through stacks of sources, articles, studies, you name it, to pull out the really key nuggets for you. So today, we're diving into something I think, well, many of us have felt that sneaky suspicion. Have you ever noticed when things get intense, like really stressful, a few extra pounds just kind of show up? Like, stress has its own gravity right around your waist, even when you're trying so hard to eat right, get moving, do all the good stuff. Could be a crazy deadline, something tough going on personally, or just the everyday grind. And suddenly, those jeans, a little tighter. For ages, people kind of brushed it off, didn't they? Like, oh, it's just me, or I must be stress eating without noticing, or even just, it's all in my head. But what if it's
Yeah.
not just a feeling? What if it's not about willpower, but actually, well, a real physical thing happening in your body? Something science can back up.
Oh, it's absolutely real. And what's so fascinating, really, is how our body's ancient survival kit, our stress response system. I mean, this system evolved to save us from like immediate dangers, right? But in our modern lives, with constant low-grade stress, it can kind of backfire subtly. That weight gain you feel when stressed, it's not in your head at all. It's biology, powerful hormones at play. And the main character in this whole story, the one we're really going to dig into today, is a hormone called cortisol. Understanding cortisol, what it does, why it sometimes goes haywire under chronic stress, it's really the first step,
Yeah.
to getting back some control.
Exactly. And that's our mission for this deep dive. We've looked at a ton of info on this link stress, cortisol, weight gain. It's complicated, frustrating sometimes. We want to give you the shortcut, help you really get not just that it happens, but the deep why and the how. And crucially, we'll get into the practical stuff. What can you actually do about it? Strategies to push back against these effects. We'll walk through the science, show you the research that confirms it, and then, yeah, arm you with real steps to break that cycle. Sound good? All right, let's start with the big one, stress. It's just everywhere, isn't it? Hard to avoid. Doesn't matter what you do, high-flying job, juggling kids and work, studying like mad, navigating personal stuff. Stress just seems to be part of the modern package deal. And look, wishing it away, probably not going to happen, right? Life throws curveballs. So the goal isn't zero stress. That's, well, unrealistic. It's about understanding what it does to us, especially physically. Because once you grasp the why, dealing with the how gets a whole lot clearer.
Exactly. And you're right. Stress is common. A little bit short burst. That can actually be good for you. Sharpens focus for a presentation, gives you that adrenaline rush if you need it, survival stuff. But when it just hangs around, that constant background noise of pressure, that's different. That chronic stress, that's when it starts to chip away at you physically.
Yeah.
It takes a real toll. And yeah, one of the most common ways we see that toll is on the scale or how our clothes fit. So if you've been beating yourself up about gaining weight during tough times, please stop. You're not imagining it. It's a known physiological response. And this whole situation sets the stage perfectly for understanding how our body reacts, which brings us right back to cortisol, the star player.
Okay, cortisol. You mentioned it's key. We hear the word thrown around with stress, but break it down for us. What is it really? Where does it come from? And why is it so tangled up with stress and weight? Is it always the bad guy? Or does it have a purpose?
Great questions. And no, it's definitely not always the bad guy. It's crucial to get that nuance. Cortisol is often called the primary stress hormone, and yeah, that's accurate. It's powerful stuff. It's made and released by your adrenal glands, these little guys sitting right on top of your kidneys. Now, here's the thing. In the right dose, at the right time, cortisol is absolutely vital. It does a lot of good. It's essential for regulating your metabolism.
Yeah.
How your body uses energy from food. Helps keep your blood sugar levels stable, making sure your cells get the fuel they need. And yeah, it's the main driver behind that fight or flight response we all know about. When you face an immediate threat, picture, like way back when, cave person steps out, bam, saber-toothed tiger.
Yikes, okay.
Instantly, cortisol floods their system. It's like hitting the turbo button. It quickly unlocks stored energy, turning glycogen and fat into glucose, fuel for the muscles, for the brain. Right now, sharpens senses, boosts focus, even dulls pain for a bit, all geared toward survival. Fight hard or run fast. In those short, sharp bursts, cortisol is literally a lifesaver. It's doing its job perfectly.
Right. That makes total sense. Short burst, danger passes, body calms down. Saber-toothed tiger dealt with, hopefully. But, okay, here's where it gets tricky for us, right? In our world, our saber-toothed tigers often aren't, well, tigers. What happens when that system designed for quick escapes just stays switched on? What if the tiger is your inbox? Or constant money worries? Or just the 24/7 news cycle and social media pings? What happens when cortisol levels are just, high day after day? When your body's stuck in alert mode?
That's exactly the crux of the issue. And that's where cortisol can shift from being a helper to becoming, well, a significant problem for health and weight. Short, sharp bursts, beneficial. Necessary even. But when those levels stay high for long stretches, that's what we mean by chronic stress. Things start to go sideways. When cortisol is chronically elevated, it doesn't just keep you alert. It starts to actively interfere with your body's delicate balance in a few key ways. For one, it can really mess with your appetite signals, make you feel hungrier, especially for certain foods. We'll get into that. It affects how efficiently your metabolism works, how well you burn calories. And maybe the most frustrating part for many, it actually changes where your body tends to store fat. The big takeaway. Chronically high cortisol makes gaining weight much, much more likely. Think of it like a smoke detector that won't shut off. The fire's out, but the alarm keeps screaming.
Oh, yeah. Annoying and draining.
Right. It drains the battery, sure. But it also keeps signaling danger when there isn't any. Causes unnecessary panic. Your body, under chronic cortisol, acts like it's always bracing for an emergency, preparing for scarcity, danger. That just never really ends. And that constant emergency prep leads to all these downstream effects that work against your natural balance.
That smoke detector analogy really hits home. It's not just background noise, it's actively messing things up. Okay, so let's get into the specifics. How exactly does this constantly ringing cortisol alarm lead to weight gain? And I think this first one, wow, so many people will relate. You ever notice when you're maxed out, stressed to the gills, you're probably not dreaming of a kale salad, are you? It's more like, I don't know, the entire pantry, a whole pizza,
Yeah.
that comfort food thing. Why?
You've hit the nail on the head. It's incredibly common, and there's a solid biological reason for it. It's not just about willpower, not at all. See, when cortisol is high all the time, your brain gets these strong signals. We need energy, fast. It thinks you're still facing that saber-toothed tiger, basically. Needs quick fuel for the fight or the flight. So this hormonal message directly triggers intense cravings, specifically for foods that deliver that quick energy hit. That means foods high in sugar, high in fat, high in calories overall, your classic comfort foods that give you that fast energy spike. And often they also trigger feel-good brain chemicals like serotonin, giving a temporary sense of relief or calm.
So it feels good for a moment, too.
Exactly. But it's fleeting. So it's really important to understand. Reaching for those foods when stressed isn't a character flaw. It's your hormones talking loud and clear. Your body is trying to fuel a perceived emergency, even if the emergency is just a pile of bills or a difficult conversation. The more chronic the stress, the louder those cravings can get. And here's another layer, which is really quite fascinating and a bit worrying. Cortisol doesn't just make you store fat anywhere. It's picky. It has a very specific preference for where it wants to stash that extra energy.
Oh, where's that?
Chronically high cortisol pushes your body to store more fat right around your middle, in your abdomen. And we're not just talking about the layer you can pinch, subcutaneous fat, though that might increase a bit too. The main issue here is visceral fat. That's the deeper fat.
Visceral fat. I've heard that term. That's the bad stuff.
That's generally considered the more dangerous type, yes?
Yeah.
Visceral fat is the fat that accumulates deep inside, surrounding your vital organs, your liver, your intestines, your pancreas.
Okay, so this isn't just about looks or how clothes fit. This sounds like it goes way deeper, affecting actual health, like a hidden danger.
You're absolutely right. It's a critical distinction. This tendency to store visceral fat, driven by chronic cortisol, has serious health implications, far beyond aesthetics. See, visceral fat isn't just sitting there. It's metabolically active. It acts like its own little endocrine organ, releasing inflammatory substances and hormones, we call them adipokines, directly into your system.
Wow. So it's actively causing problems.
It can, yes. These substances can interfere with how your body uses insulin, leading towards insulin resistance. They promote low-grade chronic inflammation throughout your body. They mess with healthy metabolic function. And having excess visceral fat is strongly linked, like really strongly linked, to a much higher risk for major health conditions. That's heart disease, type 2 diabetes, even certain cancers. And some studies suggest links to cognitive decline as well. So yeah, when you picture fat on your hips versus fat packed around your liver, you can see why managing chronic stress is so vital for long-term health, not just for weight. It's a big deal.
Okay, so let me get this straight. Chronic stress makes you crave high-calorie stuff. Check. Then it tells your body to store any extra energy as dangerous belly fat. Check. And surely it can't get worse. Does it also affect how many calories you burn? Because that just feels unfair.
It could feel incredibly unfair. You're right. And yes, that's the third piece of the puzzle. It's a triple threat, really. Beyond the cravings and the fat storage location, chronic stress can also slow down your metabolism, make your body less efficient at burning calories overall.
Seriously?
Well, when your body thinks it's in this constant state of emergency or scarcity, it shifts into what we call conservation mode, A survival instinct kicks in. It basically tries to conserve energy, anticipating a long period of hardship or danger. So, it slows down your basal metabolic rate, the number of calories you burn, just keeping your basic functions going, like breathing and circulation.
So even if I'm eating the same, my body burns less.
Potentially, yes.
Right.
Even if your calorie intake stays stable, or even if you're trying to cut back a bit, your body is burning fewer calories at rest, and potentially during activity, too. Cortisol itself influences metabolic pathways, and it can even subtly affect how your thyroid hormones work, which are major regulators of your metabolic speed. So your internal furnace gets turned down. It becomes more efficient at storing energy rather than burning it. This makes weight management incredibly challenging because your body is essentially fighting to hold on to every calorie, bracing for that famine that in modern life usually isn't coming.
Wow. Okay. Cravings, belly fat, slower metabolism, that covers the purely physical side. But there's also just the comfort aspect, right? Emotional eating, that feels very real too.
Oh, absolutely. And it's a huge piece of this whole picture. We can't separate the mind and body here.
Mm.
Emotional eating is an incredibly common way people cope with stress, anxiety, sadness, boredom, you name it. It's often a learned behavior. We reach for food not out of true physical hunger, but to soothe difficult feelings, to get a temporary distraction or that fleeting sense of pleasure or calm, like a quick fix.
A temporary bandage, maybe?
That's a good way to put it, a temporary emotional bandage. But the problem is, it usually involves eating more calories than our body actually needs for fuel, and this can easily spiral into a really vicious cycle, can it?
How so?
Well, the stress triggers the emotional eating. That leads to consuming extra calories, potentially leading to weight gain. Then, the weight gain itself can become another source of stress, worries about health, body image, feeling out of control.
Which then feels more stress and potentially more emotional eating.
Oh boy. Exactly. It just feeds back on itself, which is why tackling the stress itself holistically is so critical. Just focusing on diet and exercise in isolation often misses this huge emotional driver.
Okay, this all makes a scary amount of sense, especially for anyone who's lived through a really stressful patch, but is this all backed up, like solid science? Are we talking anecdotes, or is there actual research showing these links? Cortisol, cravings, belly fat, the whole shebang. People want to know it's not just a theory?
That's a really important question. And the answer is yes, absolutely. This isn't just theory or coincidence. There's a strong body of scientific evidence. For instance, researchers have done studies in controlled lab settings where they induce stress in participants. And consistently, they find that people who show a bigger physiological cortisol response, their bodies pump out more cortisol under stress, are significantly more likely to reach for those high-fat, high-sugar snacks afterwards.
So the hormone level directly predicts the snacking.
The link is clear in those studies, yes. It demonstrates the direct hormonal drive for specific types of food we talked about. And beyond lab studies, there are numerous large-scale, long-term observational studies and meta-analyses, which combine data from lots of studies. These consistently show that people reporting higher levels of chronic stress over time tend to gain more weight, particularly around the abdomen, that visceral fat. And this isn't just a small effect. It's a strong, consistent association tied directly to those increased health risks we mentioned, metabolic syndrome, heart issues, diabetes. The evidence is really quite robust.
Okay, wow. So message received, loud and clear. If you felt this happening to you, the weight creeping up during stressful times, even when you're trying, science totally gets it. It's not in your head. It's not a lack of willpower. It's real biology. And knowing that, understanding that stress isn't just mental, but deeply physical, that actually feels kind of validating and maybe hopefully empowering, which leads us perfectly into the what now part, because knowing why is great, but we need the how, the good news, right? We're not helpless here.
Not at all. That's the most important message. We are definitely not just victims of our hormones or stress. Understanding the mechanisms is step one, but step two is realizing there are absolutely proactive things you can do. Science-backed strategies. These steps can help minimize cortisol's negative impact, break that cycle, and really empower you to feel more in control of your health and your weight. It's not about flipping a switch overnight, but about making small, sustainable changes that add up. You definitely have agency here.
Okay, let's hear them. What are the core strategies? Where can someone start, like today, to begin pushing back against this stress-weight connection?
Right, let's dive in. First up, foundational stress relief practices. These directly target the stress response itself, aiming to lower cortisol. Number one, deep breathing exercises. Sounds almost too simple, right? But it's incredibly powerful.
How does that work?
When you consciously slow down and deepen your breath, you send a direct signal to your nervous system that says, hey, It's safe. No emergency here.
Hmm.
This activates your parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest side, which actively counteracts the fight or flight response and helps lower cortisol. You can literally feel the shift. Try box breathing. Inhale slowly for 4 counts, hold for 4, exhale slowly for 4, hold for 4. Repeat.
Just for a few minutes.
Even just a few minutes. Doing that when you feel overwhelmed or maybe first thing in the morning can make a huge difference over time. It's about building that habit. Number 2, meditation and mindfulness. Again, not about emptying your mind. That's a myth. It's about noticing your thoughts and feelings without getting swept away by them.
Creating some distance.
Exactly. You learn to observe stress without reacting automatically. Reduces that reactivity. Loads of apps can guide you. Even 5-10 minutes a day helps build that mental muscle. And number 3, yoga. It's such a great combination. Physical movement, focused breathing, mental relaxation, hits multiple points at once for stress reduction. The big practical tip for all these: consistency beats intensity. A little bit every day is far better than a huge session once a month.
Okay, calming the mind is key. What about moving the body? Exercise is always mentioned for stress, but how does it directly tackle cortisol? And what if you're just feeling too wiped out from stress to even think about a workout?
That's a common feeling.
Hmm.
But exercise has this amazing two-pronged benefit for stress and weight. First, physical activity literally helps your body process and clear out stress hormones, including cortisol. It's like burning off that nervous energy cortisol creates. Helps signal the all clear after the perceived threat. Second, and this is huge, exercise boosts endorphins. Those are your brain's natural mood lifters, the feel-good chemicals.
Ah, the runner's high effect.
Sort of. Doesn't have to be running, but yes. That mood boost directly fights the negative feelings that often drive emotional eating. So you manage stress with movement, not just food. Now, about feeling wiped out. The key is finding what works for you and being consistent, not necessarily intense. Aim for maybe 3x4 sessions of moderate activity per week. And moderate can be really accessible.
Like what?
A brisk 30-minute walk is fantastic, especially outdoors. You get fresh air, maybe some sun for vitamin D and mood, a change of scene, all good things. Or it could be dancing in your living room, swimming, cycling, some bodyweight exercises at home, even gardening counts. The goal is movement that feels good, that energizes you rather than depletes you further. Start small if you need to. A 10-minute walk is way better than nothing. Consistency is key. Okay, so that brings us back to food. If stress biologically makes us crave, like cookies and chips, how do we fight that? It's not just willpower, as you said.
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? When that cortisol craving hits hard, what's the strategy beyond just gritting your teeth and resisting? How do we eat to support ourselves under stress?
The best defense is a good offense, right? Proactively building a foundation of balanced eating makes it easier to navigate those cravings when they hit. Focus on whole, unprocessed foods. Make them the default. That means lean proteins, chicken, fish, beans, lentils. They give you steady energy, help you feel full, keep blood sugar stable. Load up on colorful vegetables. All those vitamins, minerals, fiber, antioxidants, they fight inflammation, support everything. And don't forget, complex carbohydrates, things like oats, quinoa, brown rice, sweet potatoes. They release energy slowly, preventing those blood sugar crashes that just make you crave more junk.
So steady energy, lots of nutrients. And what about the stuff we should limit?
Yeah, actively reducing the highly processed snacks, the sugary drinks. That's crucial. Those are the very things that feed the craving cycle. Quick spike, big crash, more cravings. They work against you here. A really practical tip: prep ahead. Have healthy options ready to grab.
Like cut veggies and hummus.
Exactly. Or a bowl of fruit on the counter, some nuts and seeds portioned out, hard-boiled eggs in the fridge. If the healthy choice is the easy choice when stress hits, you're way more likely to make it. And maybe practice mindful eating too. Slow down, really taste your food, pay attention to hunger and fullness cues. Helps you distinguish emotional urges from actual hunger.
Right, right. Okay, next pillar, sleep. We all know we need it, but how exactly does getting good sleep help with stress and weight specifically? What's the mechanism?
Sleep is absolutely non-negotiable. It's foundational for managing both stress and weight. It's not a luxury, it's a biological necessity. First off, when you're sleep deprived, your body sees that lack of rest as a stressor in itself.
Oh, so not sleeping causes stress.
It definitely contributes. Your cortisol levels naturally rise when you haven't slept enough. So you're starting the day already in that alert mode, even before anything stressful happens. But beyond cortisol, sleep is critical for regulating your hunger hormones. Two key players, ghrelin and leptin.
Ghrelin and leptin. Okay, refresh my memory.
Sure, ghrelin is basically your go-eat hormone. It stimulates appetite.
Mm.
Leptin is the I'm full hormone. It signals satiety to your brain.
Mm.
When you skimp on sleep, this delicate balance gets thrown way off. Ghrelin levels tend to go up, making you feel hungry or driving cravings. And leptin levels tend to go down, meaning you feel less satisfied after eating, even if you've had enough.
Wow, so you're hungrier and less easily satisfied. That's a rough combo.
It's a recipe for overeating, absolutely. So that double hit higher cortisol and messed up hunger signals makes quality sleep incredibly important for breaking the stress weight cycle. Practical tips. Aim for 7-9 hours consistently. Consistency is huge. Try to stick to a regular sleep schedule, even on weekends, to keep your body clock happy. Create a wind-down routine. Dim lights, maybe a warm bath, read a physical book. And definitely limit screens, phones, tablets, TVs for at least an hour before bed. That blue light really messes with melatonin, your sleep hormone. Okay, here's one that might surprise people, but it's super simple and effective. Stay hydrated.
Drinking water, how does that fit in with cortisol and weight? Seems almost too basic.
It does sound basic, which is maybe why it gets overlooked,
Mm-hmm.
but it's physiologically important. Even being just mildly dehydrated can actually cause your cortisol levels to rise slightly.
Really? Why?
Your body perceives dehydration as a form of physical stress. Lack of water is a threat to survival, right? So it triggers a mild stress response, including that little cortisol bump. So if you're chronically a bit dehydrated, you might be adding this unnecessary layer of stress to your system, contributing to the whole cascade. Plus, good hydration is essential for optimal metabolic function. Everything just works better when your cells are properly hydrated. And sometimes thirst signals can actually get confused with hunger signals by the brain.
Oh, interesting. So you might eat when you really just need water.
It can happen. So trying water first when you feel a craving or hunger pang can sometimes be enough. And it helps with fullness, too. The practical tip is obvious, but crucial. Keep water handy. Carry a bottle, sip throughout the day. Make it visible, make it easy. Aiming for roughly half your body weight in ounces is a good general guideline, adjusting for activity and heat. Simple habit, big impact.
Okay, lifestyle stuff is key. Stress management, movement, food, sleep, hydration. Got it. What about supplements? There's always talk about supplements for stress. Anything actually helpful there?
That's a common question, and yes, there are some supplements that research suggests might help manage stress and cortisol. And this is a huge, but caution is essential.
Always talk to a doctor first.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Cannot stress that enough. Talk to your doctor or a qualified healthcare provider before starting anything new. Supplements can interact with medications or might not be right for your individual health situation. This is purely educational info.
Understood. So with that big disclaimer, what are some that often come up?
Okay, first, magnesium. It's a mineral involved in hundreds of bodily processes, including nerve function, muscle relaxation, and regulating the stress response. Many people don't get enough. Supplementing might help calm the nervous system and improve sleep. Second, adaptogens. These are herbs like ashwagandha, rhodiola, holy basil. The idea is they help your body adapt to stress more effectively. They don't just sedate you, they help modulate the stress response, potentially bringing cortisol back towards balance, helping your body become more resilient.
Interesting, like a thermostat for stress.
Kind of, yeah, helping normalize things.
Yeah.
And third, omega-3 fatty acids, the kind you find in fish oil. They're known for being anti-inflammatory, but they also support brain health and mood regulation, which can indirectly bolster your stress resilience.
Okay, magnesium, adaptogens like ashwagandha, omega-3s, potential helpers, but definitely need that doctor check-in first.
Definitely. Professional guidance is key for supplements, always.
All right, let's pull this all together. We've covered a lot. The main takeaway seems crystal clear. Stress isn't just in your head. Nope. It hits your body hard physically, especially when it comes to weight. And that hormone, cortisol, is the main driver behind a lot of it. We learned how chronic cortisol messes with appetite, making you crave those high-calorie comfort foods, how it tells your body to store fat, specifically that dangerous visceral fat around your middle, and how it can actually slow down your metabolism, making it harder to burn calories. It's a tough cycle.
It is a tough cycle, but the really good news, the empowering part, is that you can influence it. You're not stuck. By understanding how it works, you can use these practical science-backed strategies we talked about. Things like consistent stress relief practices, breathing, mindfulness, maybe yoga, getting regular movement that you actually enjoy, making those whole food choices most of the time, prioritizing sleep like it's your job, staying hydrated. These small, consistent steps genuinely help break that stress-weight connection. They put you back in the driver's seat, feeling more in control of your health, moving from just reacting to stress to proactively managing it. And don't forget, if you want more simple, practical tips on all this stuff, fitness, nutrition, wellness, backed by research, check out BeFit.ai. It's totally free, really reliable, no-nonsense advice, helps you understand your body and how to support it. Cuts through the confusion.
Totally. BeFit.ai does the digging so you can focus on feeling good and living well. So as we wrap up, here's something to chew on. What if really getting why you reach for comfort food under pressure, or why stress seems to change your shape? What if that understanding is the most powerful tool you have? What if recognizing those body signals, those hormonal nudges, allows you to connect more deeply, listen differently, and maybe, just maybe, choose something that truly nourishes you, body and mind, instead of just providing temporary relief? Food for thought. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive today. We really hope it gave you some valuable insights and maybe some clear steps forward.
Absolutely. Keep exploring, keep learning, and take those small, mindful steps on your wellness journey. You've got this.
And one final really important note, everything we discussed today is for educational purposes. It is absolutely not medical advice. Please, always talk to your doctor or healthcare provider for personalized guidance specific to you.
Stay well, everyone.